Well, nothing like a stuffy nose to remind you that you need a pharmacy. So I'm gonna try and find my way to a Don Quixote or something like that. If no other reason than I need some cold medication yet, because I've just pretty much depleted my own supply. Oddly enough, our guide keeps talking about how best to take a taxi. No mention of the tram system, which is really weird. You'd think that public transportation is of primary importance in most Japanese cities, but apparently it doesn't seem to be on her radar, so I don't know what the deal is with that. The building behind me is called the Glover House for Thomas Glover, who was an English trader who moved to Japan when he was only 18, and by 30 he'd made a fortune selling sugar and silk and other things, and was asked by some of the anti-shogun samurai to sell them guns. And not wanting to pass up an economic opportunity, did so, and was instrumental in things like the Meiji Restoration, so far as the shogun was toppled in favor of the emperor. To this day he's revered, although for whatever reason he's still referred to as Dutch despite being English, because in Nagasaki foreigners are all called Dutch, much like the Amish refer to every outlander as English, I think. So I suppose it's better than just being called Gaiji. That's certainly a derogatory term, whereas it would seem that the Nagasakians have a certain fondness for the economic opportunities given to them by the Dutch. And despite being originally brought into the fold by the Portuguese, definitely prefer Holland to Portugal. Well, I guess it was worth a shot anyway. Decided to stop into a family mart as I can't seem to find Don Quixote. But not getting anywhere here. Try and find a pharmacy. Oh, but I do seem to have found a shopping arcade. So there's that. Not that it'll necessarily help me as far as what I'm looking for, but it can't hurt as far as just getting out, staying out, keeping myself busy, and maybe even walking up an incline too. Gotta burn some calories somehow, even though honestly the fever seems to have burned a few all by itself, which is nice. And let's see where this takes us anyway. In the process, I've managed to find myself at Ura Cathedral, built in honor of the 26 martyrs of Japan, executed here in Nagasaki in 1597. It is, however, not in use as a church, as it's basically a pilgrimage site now, and an admission fee is required. However, that doesn't mean there aren't churches here, as there is one right on the other side of the street. Yep, it definitely has its schedule printed here. Can't read it, and as I'm not Catholic, I have no intention of attending Mass there, but it's nice to know that it is still in use and operation. So there's that. Turning the other way from the cathedral, I find myself in a very quiet place. Away from the crowds. It's probably irreverent to say that it's dead quiet here, but that's basically where I am, it seems. And as much as there's something cultural about the Torii, which seems to be the entrance to the cemetery that I've just passed through, I'm also still have my own mission, and I'm trying to find my way around. So I'm thinking I'm going to take this path down again and see where it leads me. Right. It just goes right into this building. And yeah, that's not somewhere I want to be. or that I'm necessarily welcome. Honestly, I'm not sure whether I haven't stumbled into the back alleys of the foreign quarter of the city of Nagasaki in my efforts to find something remotely resembling what somebody living here would consider normal. I'm just seeing the backsides of houses here. Although I'm actually kind of surprised that a homeowner would let political posters be slapped on, unless maybe this is their version of yard signs like they do at home. Oh my goodness. Well, this is an interesting setup to be walking through, and I don't even know whether this is going to get me anywhere. I might just have to turn around and go back. They seem to have feral cats here too. This one's looking at me like, what are you looking at? I have no idea what this is pointing me in the direction of, but I think I might just try it. On the other hand, while this isn't half as many steps as the Great Wall, it's still a lot of them. And I don't even know if I'm assured of finding something at the end of it. I'm sure somebody who could read the Japanese on that sign that I just passed will tell me, you're not going anywhere you need to be. So, and I'm starting to believe it. And I can't even show you the view down there, as it's much lighter than it is here, so it doesn't show as well on the viewfinder. At least they've got handles on the rails and whatnot, so I can keep going. I do wish it would open up a little bit so I could take a picture. You can see for yourself, there's quite a ways down there at this point. If it wasn't for the fact that I had a particular goal in mind, I'd be pretty impressed with where I've gotten to and what I can see, well, not what I can see from here, but what I'd be able to once I got to such a place. Oh, like right about here. Yeah, this is it. I can show it to you from here without me in front of it, and you get a better glimpse of it. But it does mean that I'm in a residential section, and I don't think I'm going to find what I'm looking for here. I found something cool, but it ain't what I'm looking for. So I'm going to have to turn around and go back. Oh, right. I forgot. It's harder to go down than it is to go up. Well, made my bed. Now I've got to walk across it. I'll tell you, it's really weird to be this close to another house and be approximately even with or really looking down on their roof. It's, wow. Quite a sight to take in. Sometimes it's not the kindness of strangers necessarily as the kindness of your fellow passengers. At least they know English. And I just basically was like, I wish I knew where I could find a pharmacy. And oh, there's one in the next street over. So we're gonna see if I can head back down to this main street that I was on and see if I can find it. I shouldn't have been so specific with Misako-san and said a Don Quixote. It really doesn't matter to me where it's from. And oh, I think I know what this is, but I don't know if this is gonna work. Still, I guess I can try. Turns out this place is a no-go. It's open from 1000 hours to 1500 hours, and it's just past 1600 right now, so yeah, not gonna happen. Okay, well, not sure what to do with myself now. Ironically, I just missed the tram. I could have taken that and gone somewhere with it, I suppose, but I don't know really where I want to be going. And since, again, I have a specific thing that I'm looking for, I'm not sure what I can do. However, maybe I'll have more luck here than I did at the Family Mart. We'll see. Unfortunately, evidently not. Did have more selection, no doubt about that, but at the same time, they also had some cleaning products and also masks and the occasional compress to ease one's fever, I suppose. That's not quite the same thing. So, yeah, I don't think I'm getting anywhere here. Kind of annoying, really. Still, as long as I'm wandering about, I might as well turn and stop and point out the things that I see while I'm doing so. I have no idea what this is, what those characters mean on the wall, or anything like that. But something impressive is beyond that wall, I'll tell you that right now. I'm sure if I could read it, it would be something else, but again, behind me now is what I would guess to be some kind of high-level, first-rate, academy of some sort. I'm not sure if it'd be a high school, a university, or what, but it certainly is an impressive and imposing-looking place. So I would assume it'd be something with some reputation to it. Well, that explains what I've just passed up, I suppose, and what I might be heading towards if I so choose to. But I've already done that sort of thing. I think I'm gonna head back at this point. The thing is, I'm starting to run a little low on energy, which is a bit of a shame, but at the same time, I've covered a bit more ground than I expected to. Certainly, if I'd have just decided to give it up after my short excursion. It's only disappointing insofar as I haven't really been able to find what I'm looking for, at which point I might just wander around and do a little bit more stuff. If nothing else, I saw one place selling that soda-flavored ice cream again. Wouldn't mind telling you about that. This explains the other thing that I passed. Well, I don't know that I'm wanting to go up the Hollander slope, so I think I'm going to turn around. The irony is I'm back here. I could get myself an ice cream cone after all, but it's so late in the day, and right now my head is still hurting, and I'm just congested, and it's only an hour until dinner. There's no point in spoiling it for that, especially considering that most likely I'll be able to find something elsewhere, considering that seems to be stock in trade for these souvenir alleys. I've got no objection to places that sell souvenirs, but it's not what I'm looking for, and as a result, I'm not really all that interested. Yes, they've got this sponge cake that is supposed to be a local delicacy because of, again, confectionery, sugar, that sort of thing. Nagasaki's been working with this sort of thing since for hundreds of years, so they've got this down to a science. They can make sweet bread and cake like nobody else in Japan. But I know, and I know you'd be into that whole life is uncertain, eat dessert first, but that's never really been my style, honey. So I think I'm just gonna head back and hopefully get an early night out of it. My next shore excursion isn't until after 11 tomorrow anyway, so I'll be able to rest up like I did today, and maybe I'll feel even better then. What they have in Kagoshima, I've no idea, any more than I do in Nagasaki. Never did take the tram, but honestly, I've gotten a fair amount of steps, so there's that. And I see I'm not the only one, too. So I think I'm just gonna wrap it up right now and call it, well, not good necessarily, but good enough. It is how things go sometimes. I got a couple more hours out of Nagasaki than I should have been expected to, so I think I could say I did better than expected. Maybe not as well as I hoped, if nothing else. Like I said, I wanted to get some cold medicine, but what are you gonna do? Maybe all I really need is some rest. And maybe some more orange juice tomorrow. So, we'll call it a night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Keep an eye on me. Wish me luck. I'm gonna need it.